Hey scrappers, if you're looking to figure out what materials you should sell this week or hold this week, now is the time to do it. Our weekly report is going to give you that information, up-to-date market news, pricing. Let's get right into it and we'll talk about it inside. Hey scrappers, Tom here. Today is Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. Hope everyone is doing well. I'm working from home today. It's my daughter's birthday, thus the balloons. So, I couldn't get it out of the screen, so who cares? It looks like I have a bright idea right now, right? Woo! So let's go on with the markets. We spoke last week about a couple of things. So we'll just talk about a bunch of different things right now. You might hear my now 2-year-old run in the background. So those are first world problems, right? So markets, copper prices relatively steady over the last week. We haven't seen much market movement. Those prices down 6-7 cents, but demand in the industry is not there right now. We don't see the huge overall demand. When I look at certain places like India, they're predicting a 7% annualized growth for the country. So that is a positive sign. I've spoken about India before having have an uptick, but you can see here some of the prices that are posted, some of the 30-day changes on some of these prices. If we could click on Bear Bright real quick, kind of the bellwether for what we talk about, you'll be able to see some of the market prices, 290, 305, 341. Prices are still pretty high. I think my yard is at 340 today, so we generally tend to be on the higher side of things. But you can see right now over $3 is still a strong market. The commercial demand is still not there. The overseas demand, everything's just kind of flat right now. There really isn't a large demand for metals overall. I haven't seen prices jumping for anything. I'll briefly talk about stainless steel and nickel prices because we have fortunately seen stainless prices start to have a little bit of an increase with the nickel markets jumping. Nickel prices had bottomed out in that $15,500 per ton range. We're now up over $17,000 per ton. So if we could pull up some of the stainless prices, I don't think you're going to start to see a market movement on this yet because trading numbers versus scrap numbers generally have a bit of a lag. 304 stainless prices are still going to be in that 25 to 35 cent range. And here we are, 304, 30 cents, 316, 60 cents. So, you're really seeing kind of what I'm saying here. We are seeing green, we are seeing markets jumping a little bit. But when you look at these prices, 33, 30, 34, 25, 34, that's what it was. 25 to 35 cents a pound is really what we're seeing in the markets. But we have seen nickel prices increase, which is nice. So that hopefully will start to give us a little bit of a jump on the upward trajectory. But one of the problems we have now is demand for other type of metals is really just waning. I mean, I look at steel prices, which had a nice little run up to the beginning of January, but now since then we haven't seen those steel prices having any type of a big increase. Those markets have been relatively flat, if not down. I think the month of February has now seen steel prices drop about $15 to $20 per ton, and it doesn't particularly have to do with the oil industry because oil prices have really steadied themselves. If we could pull up some of the ferrous prices just to price check ourselves, oil prices have not really gone below that $75 to $82 per barrel mark. So our transportation costs have been pretty good. If you look at some of these prices here, again, these are 30-day averages. I'm looking at cast iron, 221, light iron. Let's click on light iron. It's always our bellwether, a little higher, or shred. Either way, here's our shred price, 169. And look at some of the prices over the last week: 195, 185, 9 cents comes to about 190, 170, 6 cents gives you a 135 number. So these prices aren't bad. We 30 days we are seeing a price increase, and we haven't seen large price decreases. What I've seen in the past sometimes is $40 to $50 per ton coming off these numbers in 1 month. We haven't seen that's what's good. It's been more $15 to $20 per ton. So that's nice to see. And the oil prices, they are what they are. I was talking to someone the other day, and we were talking about oil, and we were just saying, how we've spoken so much about the electrification of the country, whether it's solar, wind, cars, right? We're now seeing a record high output from the United States for oil, gas, and different types of energy production. We're exporting a lot of LNG. We have a lot of a lot of crude that's being pumped. I believe that we're seeing, record amounts, and we're almost at a daily sustainability level for the United States. What that means is we're producing in country as much as we're consuming every day. And that's a good thing because our reliance on other countries will decrease. Now, we're still exporting large amounts of fuels, whether it be airlines or high powered fuels. It could even be space navigation. But when it comes to the metal side of things, we haven't seen the fuel prices have a heavy impact on those prices over the last few weeks or few months because they really have stabilized themselves. And with the election happening this year, I do think that we're going to see a very stable fuel market. If you look back 2 years ago when those prices went to $5.50 per gallon, you did see that price swing up there. A lot of that was because of the new administration. A lot of that was due to them coming in and immediately making changes, and you started to see those changes. And then you parlayed that with the Russian invasion. That's when the prices really took a big turn upwards. So when we're looking at some of these markets moving forward, I don't think that we're going to get back to that $2 per gallon gas unless we have change in administrations and a more energy friendly US working environment, not clean energy, right? Not that green stuff, more of the oil, the gas production. If we start to see that going up more, we may start to see metal prices having an increase, steel demand, copper demand. But worldwide, we're really seeing a very flat-lined level right now. We've talked about the multiple conflicts that are going on in multiple parts of the country, and that's fine. It is what it is, right? But that doesn't drive consumption of metal. We've read comments before where people are talking about things like, are the wars that are going to affect some of the gas prices or some of the scrap prices? And the answer is not really. I mean, we're just not going to see that really happen. So we look at these things and we don't look at a large production or a large increased demand, especially when we look at, I look at numbers every month, right? Like the CPI, the Consumer Price Index. Well, we saw inflationary numbers go up in January. That means that it's costing more money again year over year when you compare this January to last January to buy things. So if people are spending more money on the same products, they're generally going to keep things longer, whether it's cars, appliances, or grills. But going into the springtime, one of the things that we have started to see about is a lot of people talking about spring cleaning. Um, Picking up washers and dryers, what parts to take apart. And on our YouTube page, we have lots of videos that talk about how to take washers and dryers apart. We recently filmed a couple of videos that are either out or about to come out, and that talks about the different water heaters and how to make money off of those, finding the copper coils. We tell you, like the caption says below me, our videos tell you what the scrap yards don't. That really is the truth. We saved a couple of different types of water heaters and cast iron furnaces and radiators just to show you guys what we look for as a scrapyard. I've recently told someone that at our yard, when we buy water heaters, most people don't take off the little brass nubs. And my team is instructed to take those off, and we weigh those every week. On a low side, there's maybe 5 pounds of brass. On a high side, there could be 20 pounds of brass. But when you just throw non-ferrous into the pile and you don't spend a few minutes looking at videos, I mean, you think about the amount of time that is burned watching YouTube videos or scrolling social media, opposed to watching videos like we produce that help you make more money. I'm not saying you have to only stream iScrap. In no way, shape, or form would I say that. But when we give you ideas and ways to make more money, you should take them. That is a positive thing to help you move your scrap pile into a better direction, have cleaner product moving forward. We answer almost all of the questions that are asked on YouTube, whether it's asking to make a new video or asking a question on a material. So check that out. But going into this, we have had different articles on spring cleaning, washers, dryers, grills, things like that. If you have other videos that people have done that you want us to comment on, or things that they've done that we may not have talked about, let us know, because we want to be able to teach more about this. But one question that started popping up this week in one of the Reddit boards that we followed was generally about brass. And it says, why did the prices on brass move less than copper, even though they're related? So again, we've talked about this inside of our videos. Brass is an alloy that contains multiple metals. So if you have a pound of brass and you have a pound of copper, copper is just copper. A pound of copper is a pound of copper, right? But brass might be 60-40, could be 60% copper and 40% zinc. Bronze could be 80-20, 80% copper, 20% zinc. So when copper prices move by 10 cents, that pound of copper will directly be impacted by 10 cents. Where if you want to just go on raw math, that brass would only be impacted 6 of those cents on an uptick. And that is one of the major reasons why brass prices don't move as fast as copper prices do. So for instance, last week I raised my copper prices by 10 cents. I raised my brass prices by 5 cents. Direct correlation kind of to the question. And we follow a bunch of these things down. Follow these things, whether down, up, whatever they are. Quick side note, I had a note to say out here. We had a problem with the Android app on Tuesday, the 27th. We know about it. We apologize. We're working on it. Technology seems to rear its ugly head on times that are least expected, and you got to jump to figure out what's wrong. So we are working on that. But if your Android app is not working, of course, go right to iScrapApp.com. Our mobile site can work exactly like the app does, reporting prices, viewing blogs, videos, etc. All those things are on there. So let's go to a different category. Virginia, if you could pull up RR cats and some of the prices. RR cats, I specifically like to look at the precious metal prices. So catalytic converter prices in the last few weeks, really, again, relatively calm. The team over at rrcats.com quoting cats all day long, free shipping, waiving PayPal fees for all transactions over $200. But if we could go to the bottom here and look at some of the precious metals, it's just going to give us a really good indicator on where some of these markets are going. Platinum right now is trading a little less than $900 an ounce. You see it here at 871. The rhodium prices kind of 4100 has really been very much the norm, and palladium prices right around that $900 mark. If we could click on palladium for a second, we did read an article recently that talks about the potential upside of palladium having about a 30% increase in the coming months. But when you look at things like this, you don't see that increase. You see a current price of 912 and a 30-day rolling average at 936. So really, you're not getting much movement here on the catalytic converter side of things. And the prices really haven't caught themselves up. One thing that we've seen at rrcats.com is a lot of people that have been holding for 6 to 12 months, they're starting to finally get rid of it because you're seeing things not moving. It's kind of like you're looking to buy a house, right? You look at the house prices. Oh, they're going to go down. They're going to go down. Well, a year later, those prices aren't going down. What are you going to do? You going to keep renting, or are you going to eat a little extra money for a house or whatever it is for a cat? You're going to make a little less money than you were used to in 2021 and 2022. But unfortunately, that just is what it is right now. Other than that, scrappers, it's been a pretty slow kind of week when it comes to news. We're looking at these commodities across the board, and we'll continue to update you as these things move up, down. Aluminum prices relatively calm month over month or week over week, maybe a 1% movement, not enough to even talk about. Sheet aluminum prices still in that 40 to 47 cent range right now. You might see a few people in the high 30s, but that's just where the markets are. So, scrappers, today is Wednesday, February 28th, 2024. We appreciate you tuning in. Let us know any of your questions that you may have. We'll talk to you next week when we're already in the month of March. And until then, I'm Tom, and I'll scrap you later.
Thanks for watching our video. For $2.99 a month, by becoming a member, you can get access to early videos, member-only videos, merchandise discounts from our store, and priority comments that we answer before answering any other scrappers. Click the link below to learn more. Until next time, scrap you later.